Hey, all my brothers, all my sisters, all my kings and queens. Hope you are seeing me nice. It's your boy Mtiduzi coming back to y'all with another video. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of March 2026. The time, what you're saying, 5 minutes to 5. You probably won't even see. You feel me? But I'm 5 minutes ahead, so if you know, you know. As you can see by today's topic, sometimes society is right. Let's get right into it, baby. You know, I have to first start here, especially if you are a believer, right? You know, there are ways of this world, there are patterns. You know, I think it's in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 4 verse something, if I'm not wrong, where the Bible talks about the devil being the god of this world. So, on majority of topics, society is wrong, right? Personally, the ones that come to mind are happy wife, happy life, which is straight BS, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'll argue certain points, right? But like, you know, the common go to school, you know what I'm saying? If you don't go to school, you're not gonna have a bright future. Okay, these are the two that are right, that are coming to mind. But let me get into the video. Sometimes the reality is society is right. And what do I mean, right? I was just thinking personally. One of the things that society agrees on a whole, right, is especially like a man in my position. You know, I believe I'm good looking. You feel the barber. I feel like, hey, you see the haircut. You didn't finesse it to the T, but I'm good looking. But I'm single, right? So one of the questions I get asked is, "Where's your girl? Where's your girl?" Right? And I feel like this is a very valid question because the reality is, if you're not dating multiple girls, right? If you're not having a rotation, which is something most men don't do, right? It's only those who can. It's like, it doesn't make sense for you not to have a girlfriend, right? Because it's like, okay, in my perspective, it's you good looking. I don't see a girl. You know, like a lot of girls have told me, I won't say a lot, but like, I remember a comment from one of the sisters. I don't know if she'll feel weird if I mention her name. And I won't, because I feel like this comment was a comment that she said, and it also came from a place where I feel like she liked me, right? So, or she does like me, but I'll say liked because she has a man now. But she was like, and I was talking to her, then she was like, you know, it's not going to be hard for you to find a wife. And I'm pretty much real. I'm a realist, right? So I was like, okay, it's my looks, right? I look good. Most women that I come across find me attractive. So I understand their perspective, right? So the reality is, where's your girlfriend? Why don't you have one, right? And I feel like society is right here. And I also want to link it to another point, right? Often what you'll hear in society, there's a bug I might have to kill, but like, often what you hear in society is, if you're a virgin and you're still old, you know, I'm 26, turning 27, and I'm a virgin, you know, the first response is, brothers, people laugh, people don't think it's right. And I have to agree with them. Yes, the Lord wants us to not have sex before marriage. But the reality is, right, especially as a guy, right? For me, it's my third day retaining, you know what I'm saying? I slipped up. Not even I slipped up, I purposefully, you know what I'm saying? Relapsed. Because I don't believe in mistakes when it comes to this, you know what I'm saying? Practice, semen retention and all. But yeah, it's like the reality, what I found is, as a man, it's biological, right? That you feel an urge to have sex, right? Dr. Miles Monroe puts it as a man needs sex, women need affection, right? So he put it as a need. But like for me, it's like the reality is not even 3 days. Today is the third day, right? And I was already feeling urges. But yeah, it's like a week in, you know, as a guy, like your body wants to F some, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when brothers come around and they're like, are you getting some? And you're like, nah, I'm still a virgin. It really doesn't make sense, because the reality is, it's like, okay, if that is true, that you're a virgin, that you're waiting for sex before marriage, how long has it been? Like, are you 2 years strong? And which is not the case for even, you know, I won't speak for all Christian brothers, because I believe some brothers are, you know what I'm saying, suffering in the flesh, because that's what it is. But it's like, the honest truth is like, you're suffering, like you're holding yourself back from the temptation, from the flesh. So society, you know, believes in sleeping around in a sense, right? But it does make sense, because it's like, when you actually break it down, it's like lies are detected. Like, I remember, to tell you guys a story, I caught an Uber home from work. And the brother he was questioning me about girls, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, you have a girl, where do you smash her? Then I was like, now I smash at her house. Her house, how does that work? And you know, just going in, because he could sense the lie, right? Because I was capping, I don't have a girl. But like, what I understood, I think I'm seeing a girl I know, but anyways, what I understood is, the brother, just from being in reality, from, you know what I'm saying, the reality of this world, my story wasn't making sense. It's like, why are you going to her place? Okay, let's say you do have a girl, you smash at her place. What's the dynamic? Like, does she like you that much? Do you have your own place? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I killed it. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? It's just a simple question. So also with me, it's like, I get to, since being a semen retainer, I'll put it like that. When brothers, like, okay, let me tell you another story. I remember when we were kids, right? Because we live in a complex, most of the brothers that lived have moved out, right? I'm the last man standing. But like, because we all lived in one place, you'd get maybe about 4 or 5 brothers that come together. Maybe 6. There was a lot of us. At times it could be up to 13, but like, that's mixed with girls. But like, as a group, we were like 10 deep, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I remember there's a time we came together and were asking each other, when was the last time you masturbated? Then I remember one of the brothers' responses, his name was Olu, or his name is Olu, right? He was like, it's been like, I don't even do that. It's been months, you know. And you're like, I know you're capping. Then he starts laughing. It's like, nah, it's been a week. Then we laugh, you capping? Then it's like, it's been today. Even though that might not be, you know, I'm remembering it in my own way. But like, it just came to show me the reality, because everyone will lie basically to protect their reputation, right? But the reality is, because of the urges we have as guys, it's like, why? You know, even the common question people who are having sex ask each other, right, is why are you taking months off from having sex? It just makes no sense. It's like, if you don't believe in God enough to wait for marriage, why are you taking these intervals up to 3 months, up to 6 months? It's like, for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the reality. It's like, us guys, we, in Dr. Miles Monroe's words, need sex. So it's like a constant thing. It's like, if you're not suffering in the flesh and holding back, it's like, when was the common question is, when was the last time you had sex? And most brothers who aren't having sex, right, or who aren't able to, or maybe who got lucky once, they'll be like, it's been a year for me. And FitX Fearless is coming to mind, because I remember this during his streams, right? He used to do live streaming where he critiques people. And one of the things he was saying is like, oh, so you masturbate? And the guy's like, nah, I don't do that. Then FitX, he had this look like, nah, you capping. Like, both stories don't make sense. You haven't had sex for a year, but you're not masturbating. Like, what are you doing? Like, how do you get yourself off? Then most people, they try cap again. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I just don't do any of that, which is a lie. Because if that's true, that you weren't having sex, okay, and you weren't masturbating, you'd have all this energy, all this time, that your life would be improved, right? But that's also not the case. Your life is going nowhere. You're not masturbating. You're not having sex. It's like, it's making no sense, you dig? So this is what I've seen. Like, it's like, society is right when they say, like, when was the last time you had sex? Or they don't believe people who are virgins. And there's only a few, like, that are virgins and actually, like, maybe have been going a year strong, you dig? But, like, that's the reality. Like, sometimes society is right. So, like, even with me, that's like how I explain. It's like, you come across a lot of brothers, even with myself, it's like, I have to be in a position to tell the truth, because I know when brothers will cash me out. It's like, even I was thinking to myself, right? The reality is, if you're not masturbating, the question is then, why don't you have a girlfriend? Because unless you're a guy that you're able to get sex from a girl or from multiple women without committing, right? Which is only the top percent of guys. It's like, that makes no sense. You have these urges, you don't have a girlfriend. Like, it's not adding up. And this is where I admit sometimes society is right? On another topic, like, I go to women. Often a question, okay, let me put it like this, right? I may have not wrapped up the last topic properly, but on to women, right? One of the main things we hear is, when a woman is late 20s, over 30, is like, why aren't you married? And women have developed so many, what can I say, excuses. There's always they're always defensive about it. Society wants us to have a man and children. That's not what our life is about. But let's look at the reality. As a woman, you get approached, right? Even as an ugly, like the ugliest woman, at least one guy will try you, maybe because he thinks you're easy. But how society is set up is women get approached, right? So you've had all these men approach you, and you weren't able to keep a man, right? And being a guy, we understand how simple it is to be kept. Unless you're having your way, right? The reality is, it's pretty easy to keep you as a guy, right? Or to Yeah, it's like men hardly break up with women. Maybe they'll cheat, but they hardly break up. So it's like the reality is, let me put it this way, the reality is women are always breaking up with men, but if 1,000 men have approached you wanting to get to know you, how is it that you are still not with one guy and you are single late into your 30s? You know, it's a good question, because like, especially with me, right? I run into beautiful women. Beautiful women, most of them are older obviously, but they still drop dead gorgeous on some why don't you have a ring, you know what I'm saying? So it just shows that this woman, firstly, she has an ego, because most of them are beautiful, right? So she thinks, she keeps gambling like, I can get a better man, where she doesn't see that as us guys, it's like, even if I were to be interested in you as a younger guy, for the most part, I just want to smash you, right? I don't really want to stay. And the guys that do want to get married to you, you don't find them up to par. So, it's a justified question to ask women. Why are you childless, right? But most women aren't childless because reality is sex is easy for them, right? But why aren't you married? It's like, it's easy to keep a guy. A lot of guys are after you. Yes, they may not be the man you want, but like, why are you not married? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I honestly believe, and one of the things I've been thinking to myself is like, society is right sometimes, you feel me? That's something we can't lie about, and we have to listen. Another topic I'll go to is school. One of the way of this world is go to school, go to university, right? Because that's the real school they're talking about. University, college, because for the most part, primary and high school, because here in South Africa we only have two, primary and high school. For the most part, you pretty much forced, right, to go to school for all these years. It's like, it's hardly that, the most common thing is maybe people dropping out of high school. We don't get too many primary dropouts, right? Unless it's because of circumstance. But it's like, they always tell you go to school, you won't have a future. And society is right to a certain degree, right? Because, yes, what they are saying is true. School won't make you rich, right? Certain industries, right? So not every diploma degree that you do in school will get you guaranteed money. There's a lot of people, you often hear someone has a master's but is sitting at home. Quite some time back, there was a story on the news where doctors were doing. What do you call doing? They were protesting that they can't find jobs. So you see, like, imagine going to school for 7 years and coming out not being able to find employment, especially as a doctor, right? Which is one of the most needed professions. There's always going to be sick people. So, that's the reality. It's like, certain industries, certain degrees will get you money in school, right? But regardless, school equips you with a skill and you guarantee to make money over someone who has dropped out without a plan. But the reality is, okay, you don't want to go the school way, which is me. I don't believe in formal schooling, the tertiary, the university. Yes, for certain careers, you do need to go that way. But for the most part, you don't need school to make money. Matter of fact, most people in school, school as a whole, what I believe about the education system is, and it's been said by multiple people, even recently there's a video I watched by Dr. Miles Monroe. They train you to be good employees. They don't train you to be employers, right? Starting your own business, being, what do they call it? Entrepreneurial, right? They study you to be, they craft you, they make you an employee. And because there are so many employees, the culture shames you for not wanting to become an employee and pursuing, starting a business or something else, which is really where the wealth is, because most people who go in the school system, they broke. That's the reality. Most of them aren't having Bentleys, Rolls Royces. Yes, you might often find someone has a nice car, maybe a Merc, but mostly wealth is found in business, right? So I do believe that school is not the way. But at the same time, we have to be real with ourselves. Even with me, someone who dropped out of college, right? Yes, I am working right now by the grace of God. But the question we have to ask people, and I feel like society is right in saying, why aren't you going to school? Because it's like, okay, you don't want to go to school. I get it. School's not for everyone. Personally, I don't believe school is the way. I think you're wasting your time. But what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? It's like, parents, they shame you. They often, what can I say? They come down on you. You have to go to school. You have to, you know what I'm saying? Take your studies seriously, right? They often tell you misleading information on some, I didn't go to school, so that's why I'm at this level in life. If you go to school, you're going to make it past me. Which is not true, right? That's just self-determination. Maybe they gave up. They could have had a different life. But as someone who is not going to school, all this pressure, right, which is wrong from a society, what it makes you do is you have to really question yourself is, okay, I don't want to go to school. What do I want to actually do with my life? Because school is not really where the money is at, right? So I think really the pressure from society on some go to school is right in a sense, because it forces you as an individual to step out and be like, okay, I'm not going to school. I don't care what y'all say. It forces you to believe in yourself and to chase after your dreams. Whether it's starting a business, I'm a rapper, whether it's YouTube, whether it's streaming that you're like, okay, I want to stream. Whatever you want to do that, obviously this typical school path you don't believe in. You have to, I feel like society is right in saying, okay, if you're not taking it serious, go to school. Because the reality is, if you're not pursuing your career and you don't want to go to school, you're wasting your time, honestly. You're honestly wasting your time. Like, another topic I want to talk about is what's linked to this is the job, the whole, it's often the whole go get a job. And even though I don't believe in job security, yes, you can come by job security. I feel like it's a very weak mentality because, I believe God has placed us here with everyone, and he put a gift in everyone, right? Everyone was born for a reason to do something. We all have dreams, we all have passions. But then, the reality of the world is we have to make money. So we often get jobs and get stuck in jobs, or not even we get stuck in them. We don't make the effort to escape because there are plenty of people not having jobs and prospering. But society is right in saying, go get a job. Because as someone who didn't want to get a job, right? I look at my reality and it's like, okay, if you don't want to get a job, how are you going to make money? That's the number one question you have to ask yourself. Are you taking your business seriously? what are you doing to make money? Because that's the reality of this world. We need money, right? And also another thing, because I'm a believer, right? Okay, let's say you don't want to go get a job. Are you seeking first the kingdom? Because that's what the Bible says. Are you truly seeking first the kingdom? And if you are, it shows in your reading your Bible, you living holy, right? You taking care of yourself. That's a byproduct of seeking first the kingdom. You praying, fasting. But it's like, the question you have to ask ourselves is, okay, yes, you don't want to get a job, but society is right in saying, go get a job, or what job do you do? Because we need money. And if you're not starting a business, if you're not, you know what I'm saying? The reality of also, if you want to do something different, like basically being a rapper or stand-up comedian. You know, I read a book. I don't know which book it was or whether it was an audio book, but basically what it was saying, right, the knowledge it had was many people want to be a musician, but many people don't want to go through. I'm just gonna open the window quickly, but to go through the many years of you struggling, you without money, until eventually you're on. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it like that. So, unless you're living the reality of you struggling, you putting your all into this music, why not get a job? Like, why are you so against a job? And you know, I love how Alex Hormozy often says, your job is not, your 9 to 5 is not holding you back. Your job is not holding you back. Your 5 to 9 is holding you back. And in my own words, what he means by that is, okay, you have 9 to 5, you're supposed to be at work. That 5 to 9, what are you doing with your time? As well as when you wake up, that 5, if we're supposed to wake up at 5, right? In order, if we want to cross over, what are you doing with that time from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. before you go into work? So, and that's what I've seen. It's like, you know, all excuses aside, right now I work a job. I work from 8 to 1, right? It's part-time. It's like, and this is what I've seen, like even people who work 9 to 5, it's like, we get so many hours. And this is what I've truly have seen. It's like, even when you're on the job, there are so many hours people just, for lack of better word, F around, right? It's like, I've seen people in other stores, right? Because where I work, it's only me and my boss. But I have plenty of free time. And in that free time, I usually, right now I'm transferring all my lyrics from a book to a cloud, so that if anything ever happens to my books, I still have my millions, right? Because I truly believe all this music I'm making is worth millions, right? So it's also reading the Bible. I have enough time to read the Bible. I have enough time to read or listen to an audio book at the job. I have enough time to write, right? I want to write every day, except for one day of the week. But like, I have enough time to write, you know what I'm saying, to a beat, to craft, get better at my skill, right? It's like I have so much time, and it's only me that I can blame if I waste it. But I also see it with other people. They're constantly on their phones. You know, other people are playing games, and not that I judge them. It's just the reality is we have so much time. We just have to look at ourselves and understand that we really don't want financial freedom. We really don't want not to have a job, right? And that's okay. But like, society is right in saying, what the hell? You're working, let's say, as a waitress. Like, you're barely surviving. Like, there's no way you're gonna be working as a waitress pushing a Rolls Royce. It's like, the reality of that, I've never seen it. And society is right in being like, that's not a real job, or you know what I'm saying, shaming you, because it's like the reality is certain fields, they make less money, even though you're able to get into like a waiter position easy. The money from it, yes, you can make a lot of money, but the chance of you getting to wealth, financial freedom, what are the chances, right? If you're not working a job, why not work a job? It's not really holding you back. You know, I get it. When it comes to, you know, a lot of not having a job comes with ego, right? So maybe as a rapper, you don't want to go out as having a job, which is reality. But then you're going to have to suck it up and struggle while making your career work. You know, there's another story. One of my brother's dads, he told us basically, right? But he was saying he remembers telling one of the guys from his kasi, from his hood, on some, my brother, you know, bath yourself, clean yourself up. He had dreads, like cut the dreads. I can get you a position in a bank. I'm not sure as what. But that guy was saying, like, nah, I can't cut my dreads. My hair is sacred to me. Which, the reality is, okay, if you choose your hair over the job, no stress. Or most people won't get it, right? But for me, okay, I understand. You're not willing to give that part up. But you're gonna have to forego you're gonna have to face the consequences of not having a job and being broke. And also another thing is, you know, yes, it's hard to get a job, but there are plenty of jobs available, right? I truly believe that. And one of the things I've seen is people don't want just any job, right? And that's also a reality. It's like you can tell someone, come work, you know, close to where I work is it's a meat store. So basically type of thing where the job most people have is, you know, cutting meat, packing shelves. It's like some people will be like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's above me. And it's like, that's cool then. But it's like, where's your job? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because if you don't have a job, how are you getting money? You know? And another aspect, you know, is society shames women who don't work a job and, you know, finesse men because of their good looks for money. And as much as women can, you know, or who do OnlyFans sex work, as much as they can put up a defense, it's a good shaming. Society is right in doing that because it's not a sustainable future, right? Yes, I do believe every woman, you know, Andrew Tate puts it like every woman is a sex worker, because even if they have a husband, he's the only buyer, right? They get married, the guy pays the bills and whatever, what. But yeah, it's like society in shaming these kind of women is right, because yes, as a woman, you can be beautiful, you can sleep around, you know, you can live the high life. Men will give you money when they're established. But doing all of that, your value goes down. And the guys, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's funny. There was just, you know, with this whole, I think it's Cash Doll. She was saying she wants a God-fearing man who makes 100 million, or who has 100 million plus. But one of the things they were shaming her about is, you know, she's previously been peed on. I think it's one of her fetishes, right? The golden shower, you know. So it's like, as a guy, even if I had 100 million plus, a God-fearing man, and I speak for myself, right? But I feel like most men will agree. We don't want a woman like that. Like, do you want your woman to have been ran through, peed on? Then here you are. And once you do step into the marriage relationship, she's going to want you to take 100% in terms of providing, right? You're gonna have to provide everything for her. It's like her value is gone. Like, so it's like, as a society, sometimes the society is right? And there are a lot of things I agree with, because it's like, even with the current topic I'm on, these women, once they lose their value, it's like, now it's such a shame, or, you know what I'm saying? She had her time, now she's worn out, she's single, she didn't really, do much with the money. And I don't blame women for that, right? It's a hard thing to do, to keep putting that money away when you're in this fast life, right? Because it comes so fast. But yeah, it's like, that's the reality. It's like, you get ran through, no one wants you. So it's like, if society didn't shame you, and I feel like we need to do more shaming. There's a lot of things in life where things won't add up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you don't shame women or ask women, why aren't you married? Even as with us men, it's like, women often say, maybe like if he's in his late 20s, his 30s, and he doesn't have a child, or he hasn't, or let's say 40s and he hasn't been married, but mainly with the child, it's like, it makes sense if you've been sleeping around for 10 years. Either, the reality is either you've been lucky to where you've never had, or you've never gotten a girl pregnant, there's never been a scare, or you've led her, or you guys, whichever partner, have gotten abortions, right? But it's like, where are your kids? Because that comes from sleeping around. To end it on this, right? Especially with this topic of, they always ask us guys, it's like, you don't have a kid. Like, it's often weird. Like, what? How? You know what I'm saying? But I get it. Like, I remember my dealer. One of the brothers, I used to buy the weed from. Okay, anyways, I was looking at a message, a notification. One of the guys I used to buy weed from, right? Because I was someone who smoked a lot. I was always there. I was buying from him. Then I had taken time off. And when I had went back to buy, he was on some, I thought you were locked up because, it's part of this life. And as someone who's never been locked up for weed, yes, I've been, stopped and the police found weed on me, but they, my dad paid a bribe and I got off. No cap, right? But yeah, it's like, his words made me reflect, right? Because I'm someone who, I really didn't like the police or the idea of ever being caught. But that was the reality. Like, he's like, for me, it just made so much sense. It's like, if you keep going down this path, you have to accept the idea that you're going to go to jail. They're going to find you with weed one of these days. You're going to have to serve some time. Right? So it's like, these are, even with that dealer, I could have been like, man, you're tripping. Like, not everyone has to be caught. But like, society is sometimes right. And yes, we can fight societies. Most topics, they're wrong. But like, sometimes society is right. And we have to, if it does affect us, right? Like, another topic is, society often says, what you hear from people is, I'm 26 right now, and I'm still living at home. It's a shameful thing. Like, that's one of the things society condemns. But since I'm in that position, I have to take a real good look at myself and be like, you know what? I can't blame society, because honestly, looking at it without being emotional, without attaching my feelings, there's so much time I've had, right, to really focus on getting money. Or let's say we're believers, right, in seeking first the kingdom of God, where I believe that I should have been living on my own right now, right? You know, there's a tweet I tweeted not so long ago that I believe we're I believe being rich young is supposed to be the norm, but we just waste so much of our time and focus on the wrong things. And for me, honestly, it's like I look at my life and I'm like, I've wasted so much time, and the fault is with me. That's why I'm not living on my own. Otherwise, I should have been rich already. Like, I should have been rich. And this is what I see with everyone else. It's like, you guys are we wasting so much of our time. Like, I'm 26. I'm going to be turning 27. If, right? Or, yeah. Because it's an if thing. If I put the work in and I finally start making millions at 27, I'm gonna be considered, yo, I'm so young making so much money. But like, if we truly take a look at our lives, there's so much time we waste. We spend time on the wrong things, you know, watching TV, soapies, you know, partying. Is that there's so much time we waste that as a whole, you know, we understand that, you know, that's something wrong. And I feel like society is right in saying you're still living with your parents. That there's something wrong with you. And we honestly have to take a look at our lives if we're feeling pressure from society, and we have to change our lives, right? Because I feel like sometimes society is right. It's like, when I ask myself that, why am I still living at home? I've been focusing on the wrong things. I can't tell you guys how much time I've wasted. And, you know, eventually I am going to move out, obviously, and make millions. But it's like, if you're not truthful with yourself, you always feel like you're under attack. You know what I'm saying? You always have to have this defense. Oh, I don't need a man, you know, with women. Society says you need a husband and kids to feel fulfilled. I don't need a man, and society is wrong. It's like, nah, we're actually right. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's like, I think all this comes down to is, even though there's a lot of wrong in society, society is right about a lot of things. And in asking you these questions, right, whether why you're not married, you're a virgin, something's wrong, you fat, right? You know, there's constant fat shaming, but the reality is a lot of people can lose weight, they just don't want to, right? But yeah, it's like, I feel like society is right, because as people are slacking, and we have to wake up, we have to take a good look in the mirror, and we have to improve ourselves, we have to fix our life. And yeah, just continue waking brothers up, because I don't feel like it's from a hurtful place, right? Maybe yes, sometimes it is, but like, honestly, society asks these questions from a place of concern. You know, for example, a woman having like one of the things society shames is women with a high body count. And it's a good thing, because it's like you're going down the wrong path. You know, society is also, as a whole, you know, they've tried to fight against it. But, you know, if you do get married to a woman with kids, it's like it's looked down upon, because the reality is she made these bad mistakes. Now you have to step into her life and fix her life and take care of her, whereas she has the capacity to just leave you like you didn't even help her, right? And also, you know, the number one question is, where are the fathers of these children? It's like, sometimes society is just right, man. I'll just leave it at that. It's your boy Mduduzi. I'm out. Peace.